Hey Internet, it's Jesse and Jay at Ish Guitars. We're coming at you with the new Joe Walsh signature guitar, limited run, 96 pieces for America.
Only?
That's it, 96. That's not a lot of guitars.
How many are we getting?
We're getting 2. This is our first one. They just announced it yesterday. We got this one super fast. It is not sold yet. Pre-order if you want to. Give us a shout. Or not pre-order because it's going to be here. But we want to give you a quick rundown on this and also compare it to your typical, we don't have a SingleCut at the moment, but your typical 594 and see if it's any different. So the most exciting part about this guitar is, to me, that it has stainless steel frets.
Yeah, new. So new.
If you're a PRS guy, you already know that there's no PRSs with stainless frets. On some private stocks have them if you order them, if you order, spec them. But Paul Smith does not like stainless steel frets. John Mayer does not like stainless steel frets. They think that they sound too harsh. You know, if you ever play with stainless steel strings, it's the same kind of vibe. And
Joe Walsh loves them though.
Nickel sounds better. I'm really surprised that Joe Walsh likes them because obviously you think, you know, vintage guy, Les Paul guy, you think nickel, 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 but you know, a lot of people, obviously, as we know, are stainless steel fret converts because they don't wear out. So like that's pretty dope. So that's really cool. The other thing that's really cool with this guitar is it has a Brazilian rosewood fretboard. Another thing that's really cool with this guitar is it has, this is actually a private stock color technically. This is the private stock version of McCarty Sunburst.
Gotcha.
Apparently that's different. It's not a private stock, it's just the private stock color.
Right.
It's not terribly different for me. I think that I see it in the the gradient of it is like very very
more
smooth.
Distinct, yeah.
Yeah, versus like the core guitar, they spray it so it's a little more aggressive. Like you know, there's more of a line where the fade is.
Yep.
So it is very pretty. My personal guitar is this exact same color. My private stock. So it does look great. Interestingly, also too, this is a 10 top. It's not an artist. You know, it's not a private stock. This is a 10. It's marked on the back of the headstock as a 10. It is a very good 10 top. It's very, very pretty in person. Also, it's got a truss rod cover. It says Joe Walsh on it. Not that exciting. What I think is really neat too is that this guy has a hand-signed Paul Reed Smith signature on there.
And on the back.
And on the back has Joe Walsh hand-signed. You'll definitely want to get an extra back plate for that.
Yes, yeah, please. Or clear coat it or something.
I know. I don't know who's going to run the guitar with this on it.
No. That's scary.
But I love the hand-signed Paul signature on the headstock. You can tell it's literally his signature. It's kind of funky. And obviously the Joe Walsh signature. So, I mean, signed, limited, numbered model.
96 of them.
Really relatively rare from PRS to do this. So actually, I just misspoke. This is not a numbered guitar, individually numbered as most limited runs are. And that brings us to a really interesting point of contention that needs to be talked about. This guitar, although it is hand-signed by Joe Walsh and Paul Reed Smith, which is super cool, it doesn't have your traditional signed and numbered, you know, 1 of 200, 200 for the world, you know, 1 of 200, 2 of 200 type of thing you see on most Fender or Gibson limited editions, especially with a big celebrity like Joe Walsh. Also, this guitar doesn't have any type of special COA or booklet or anything with it. It has a hang tag that says Joe Walsh on it, just the normal PRS hang tag. But it's interesting because I think that PRS really does miss it a lot of times with their limited runs. And I've been vocal about this with the Silver Sky, the Lunar Ices, and the Nebulas and stuff. You know, this does have a cool black paisley case, but I want like something different. I want it to say Joe Walsh on it. I want a booklet that comes with it, you know, that Joe signed. You know, especially I want the guitar to be numbered. I want it to be 1 of 200, 2 of 200, you know, with an individual number, not like on the Silver Skies where it says 1 of 1,000, not 1/1,000. It's not individually numbered. It's just saying it's 1 of 1,000. I think it's a little bit of a miss here. And I know why. It's because Paul's not building a guitar to put paperwork with, right? Not that that's a bad thing, but just knowing him pretty decently, he's building a guitar that's going to be the best guitar. It's going to feel so good. And he's not thinking about, you know, paperwork and COAs and numbering and stuff. He's building such a great guitar and he's sending it to Joe Walsh. And Joe Walsh is saying it's great, so they're making it, right? So he's really building it for the tone. So I understand why, but still, I'm going to ding it a couple points here, just because, most importantly, I want it to be numbered individually, and a COA. The price on this guy is $65.50, so it's really not that bad. It's expensive. It's more expensive than your typical core guitar.
It's a rare signature artist.
Yeah, I mean, for a limited run, I really don't think it's bad. As a guitar overall, I think it's really cool. Now, I have not played it yet. Oops, just whacked my mic. I have not played it yet. We're going to play it. Jay's going to play it.
Yep.
And Jay, turns out, is the world's biggest Eagles fan.
I guess so. I don't know if the biggest fan would be. I do like the Eagles.
Well,
like every other guitar player, you got to enjoy some Joe Walsh.
Well, you kept saying how much you like this guitar.
This guitar's great. That doesn't necessarily determine just because it's Joe Walsh. It's great, though.
So let's baseline it with this guy first.
The regular one?
Yep. So this is a non-Brazilian board. This is an East Indian rosewood fretboard, and this has a nickel frets on it. Mm-hmm. Why don't you just go center position, humbuckers.
Cool.
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 Give me some of this.
All right, same thing. Middle humbuckers.
What do you think?
Oh, definitely different. Obviously, we can hear that. I think this one's a little clearer overall.
I hear upper mid-range, a little bit of extra clarity, a little bit of extra.
That one got lost
response.
a little bit in that kind of, like you said, upper mid-range.
This is pretty
area.
muddy.
Yeah, a little muddier. I mean, we're using the car. I don't know how much that'll change it too, but like.
Yeah, we're not like nailing the Joe Walsh tone here. We're
No,
kind of
we're just giving it some
generally
gain.
approximating.
But definitely way more balanced throughout. Like the chords get lost. It felt like a little more. There.
Resonance-wise, when you're just touching and feeling the guitar, do you feel anything
They're pretty
different?
comparable. I mean, I don't feel it so drastically.
Sometimes with some of the guitars we've had, like the Paul's 85, for example, that guitar, it's the same woods as anything else, but just the woods just resonate way differently. So the woods aren't really any different.
Not really. I mean, it may also be with the SingleCut, it feels a little different.
Yeah, of course.
But I can't say it's anything that's like inherently like standoff. But definitely, this feels a little more solid throughout as a piece. Just kind of one of those things when you pick it up, it feels like it's one glued together piece.
I noticed that too. I don't know, maybe it's in the finish or in the way that this is also, I forgot to mention this is really important. This is PRS's vintage nitro. So PRS actually has two types of nitrocellulose. One is a modern blend where it's totally nitro, but it doesn't crack, which is really cool. I don't know how they figured that out.
Cracking.
And then they have the vintage nitro, which is like your old school Fender Gibson style nitro. So this is the vintage style nitro, which is pretty cool because previously that's only been available on very expensive private stocks, 12K plus, expensive things.
It'll be so fun though to see it like over time. Just
that's going to be, I love age stuff. I love worn-in stuff. And I love PRSs with some aging on them because you don't see it very often. That guitar's going to look really, really great like that. Does it sound any different? I am not going to say that it does. Maybe if all you do is hang out on the internet all day, then maybe it sounds different. But to me, it doesn't sound any different. But I just think it's cool.
It's a cool touch.
But I do think that type of nitro feels different. My personal private stock bass that Paul Miles built for me feels way different, and it's a little cracky and stuff, and just the feel of that instrument's totally different. I did notice that with this also. That might be what you're noticing.
Yeah.
Give us a little more playing. I want to hear a little more.
A little bridge pickup or something?
Yeah, give me a little bridge, give me a little neck.
So here's bridge pickup. Try the neck. Definitely still a dark guitar. Like it has some of that. It's not afraid to be in the lower mid-range at all.
No, it's definitely a vintage instrument for sure. Interesting, a vintage instrument with modern frets, basically, right? With those stainless frets. One other thing really interesting is, I don't know if you saw the PRS video that they had a PRS.
They just released, yeah.
Well, they had a PRS amp in the background, and then everyone was noticing that what was actually mic'd was a little amp on the side. I think it's actually a Vox G2, which is like their little tiny
baby boy.
It's a little like digital modeling amp. That's like a couple $100. That's what it looks like from the bad photo that you can see. We're a Vox dealer also, so I'm familiar with them. I think that's what it is. I don't know, but everyone's been freaking out online about that. I don't know what the deal is. I've had like 5 people ask me today, like, what's going on with that?
We don't know. We just sell these guitars.
I don't know. I'm assuming it was Joe Walsh's. You know, PRS is really caters to their players. So if it's what their player wants, it's what their player gets. So I'm assuming that's the tone he wanted, and there you go.
At least plug it in the amp and fake us out.
I don't know why they didn't just put the amp off camera.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what I mean? I have no idea. Any idea? So is there anything you really don't like about this guitar, Jay?
No. This is the most classic. I mean, it's the Les Paul vibes that I like without it being a Les Paul.
So you really like it?
I do. This is a guitar I like.
Because when you pulled out of the box, you were kind of like, eh.
This kind of is a little, the name on the plate's a little, just, I don't know, it doesn't do anything for me.
A little cheesy.
But no, it's a sweet guitar. Like it hits all the points that you'd expect for a Joe Walsh style guitar. It's not a million pounds like a Les Paul, which is nice. Yeah, no complaints at all. I think it's a sweet piece.
I'm very surprised. Usually we like to complain more.
I know, right?
Well, on that disappointment of lack of complaints, that is time to end. We have 2 of these. Buy one. They will go quick. They will hold their value well. They're a great guitar. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Like, subscribe, share. See ya.